So welcome everyone. Nice to meet you in this moment. And today's meeting is a meeting in loving awareness and radiance of your being. So it's quite a profound meeting. And the instant I started today to prepare my space to meet you, I felt a special presence of which I haven't felt his presence for a little while. And instantly, as I'm preparing, Papaji came through today, just before this meeting. And so this is why I also put his picture by our side, because yes, he is right here. His presence is here, and Papaji, if he's new to you, Papaji has done some amazing work on this planet, and he has helped many people to awaken to their full consciousness as well. And one of his students was actually Gangaji. So Gangaji was the student of Papaji, and Papaji was the student of Ramana Maharishi. And Papaji has also been my teacher, and yes, in a few good times he would come through and to teach me directly. So I've crossed paths with Papaji a few good times, and yes, ever since maybe 3 years, 4 years ago was like the first time I could recognize his presence, and mainly like he came through when I opened to presence consciousness, and he was already coming through to show me the way and receive his transmissions, receiving his presence. And when I feel him and think of him, the first thing that comes is stop. Stop, stop, stop. Stop everything. Just stop. So, yeah, he comes with a very strong presence of his consciousness. He was quite matured, you could say, very matured in his consciousness, and yeah, he was also quite funny and humorous too, but yet very powerful, very strong in his presence. The way I can describe the stopping of where he brings that from is this pulling up of the handbrake, just for a moment. If you see how the mind functions, and the mind is always racing, it's always like an engine driving, and it's like driving a highway. It's constant, it's constantly going, And if it's not going straight in one focus of energy or thought stream, it's going to go into other streets, other branches, and it keeps going. Whether if it's a good road or a bumpy road or a windy road, it just keeps going like an engine of a car. That's how the mind is functioning. But yet, when you pull up this handbrake, first of all, you would sense a very strong resistance, the resistance of the energetics when you're pulling something to the present moment while the engine wants to keep going because it's revving so fast. And this resistance is what one would say that it's the spiritual fire that would burn that resistance down. And so he always used to say, just stop everything. Like, stop everything. And in that stopping, you become aware of what wants to move. That pulling up of the handbrake brings up the movement, brings up the resistance of bringing it into the now. And not just that, but witnessing what wants to move forward. Witnessing the movements, the motion, and it's quite a profound practice in itself. Because as soon as you try to pull up that handbrake, something within is going to resist that. And it might come up with various thoughts of why I should even try this practice, or for what reason should I do this, and what benefits is going to give me, or this is not important. And just to watch what rises. So that's from the thought perspective. Then also you can witness the feelings and the sensations when you try to lift that handbrake. It's like trying to hold a wave in the ocean. It's going to bump on you. It's going to hit you hard. If you stand right in front of a big wave, you try to stop that, it's going to have an impact. And that's the resistance I'm speaking about. It's a natural force that is created, that resistance, when you're trying to stop a force, emotion. So you can also become aware of any sensations or any feelings or any form of impact that this great big stop can bring up to you. You might also feel certain pressures. Certain pressures can become present, maybe around the heart, maybe the solar plexus, because your chakras, they are all engines. Have you ever seen them like that? They're engines, they're always going, they're always moving. And depending on how optimized it is, it's either revving very fast, or else there is some rust, stagnation, and that engine is not optimized as well. So this great stopping that Papaji was always teaching, reminding, was a great practice to burn even karma, to burn the impulses, to burn the habitual patterns, to burn the mind, to burn the ego. It's like a spiritual fire, and it's very uncomfortable. But this is very specific work or very specific practice, because it's a practice that will assist you in raising your consciousness, in opening your higher consciousness. So consciousness practices are very different than practices towards ascension or healing practices. You must understand that it's very different practices. They are all needed, they're all essential on your path. But since this meeting of now is about loving awareness and radiance of your being, here we shift into consciousness practices. So consciousness practices, it is very much selfless, because it is for you to go beyond you. It's always an opportunity for you to see beyond you. That's what consciousness practices are made of. To always transcend that which you think that you know of who you are. And it might seem to be very tough work, which it is, because no one likes to break down and decondition that which we so much believe in, especially if they are your core values. core values. When you start hitting your core values, it can become quite tough. So consciousness practices, it's always going beyond you. And this is why this great teachings of Papaji has come in my life, and as even today, as his presence came through, it's like, yes, let's bring your teachings through, because every being whom has realized their true nature would always bring a very unique teachings. They always have a very unique way, because although our absolute nature is one, but yet it is anchored within this particular soul and this particular person. So every teaching, although it's the essence and the teachings is pointing towards that absolute nature, there's still a unique way of bringing or pointing to that way in a very unique way. So through my journey, have met, have had the opportunity to meet in spirit many of these self-realized teachers. And when they would come through as their presence, I would instantly recognize who is here, and there would be this transmission of their unique way, pointing to the absolute nature. And since the one absolute nature, since that is infinite, means that there's always more for one to mature into the absolute nature to infinity. You can realize your nature, but that's the beginning. Towards the infinite maturity. And so these amazing teachers would come and go, and always would give a deeper taste of that absolute nature.